This is the next webinar in the 2024 New York State World Languages Professional Learning Series. My name is Candace Black, and I'm your World Language Associate in the Office of Bilingual Education and World Languages of the New York State Education Department. Welcome to Explore Thematic Unit Plans to Inspire Your Instruction. Be inspired by the curated unit plan exemplar collection created by teachers around New York State to align with the revised learning standards and housed in live binders. The presenter will familiarize you with the Live Binders platform and how you can use it to access the thematic unit plans already posted to the site. You will learn strategies for searching the platform and downloading and editing exemplars for your own use. Add these gems to your treasure trove of materials aligned to the World Language Learning Standards to inspire your standards-based thematic instruction. Our workshop presenter today is Barbara Patterson. Without further ado, it's my pleasure to invite Barbara to begin this workshop.
Thank you, Candy, for that introduction. Just a quick review. When you see the red microphone, and you should be doing that now, is mute your mic. When you see the blue thought bubble, you're going to think. The green chat symbol, you're going to write in the chat box. And towards the end, you will see the Google folder icon, and you can access the resources there. So today's goals are: first, I can become familiar with the Live Binders platform. I can explain the difference between the model and regular unit plan exemplars. I can search Live Binders content using its tools. I can download an exemplar for my use, and I can modify an exemplar for my classroom instruction. So here is the process of how we acquired the unit plan exemplars that are housed in the live binders. First, teachers around New York State volunteered and attended Checkpoint A unit plan development workshops over the summer. Then the workshops participants created and submitted a unit plan aligned to the revised learning standards for world languages. The New York State Standards Initiative team reviewed the unit plans with the unit plan exemplar rubric and provided feedback to potential exemplars. Then those teachers revised and resubmitted their unit plans, and those are the teachers that received feedback. And then the New York State Standards Initiative team reviewed the resubmissions and accepted the ones that best reflect the priorities of the revised learning standards for world languages. And this is where Live Binders comes into play. Live Binders now houses these unit plan exemplars and is available to the public. So what is the purpose of these unit plan exemplars? Well, remember, the Board of Regents adopted the revised learning standards for world languages. Then districts, they were to develop curriculum or in the process of developing curriculum aligned to the learning standards for world languages. Then the world language departments create unit plans aligned to the district's curriculum. And this is where the exemplars come in. The unit plan exemplars are a guide in developing these thematic unit plans and support that transition to the revised learning standards for world languages. So what are live binders? If you think back, and maybe you still do this, I do, you have those 3 ring binders sitting on your shelves. Maybe there was lesson plans or unit plans in them. Well, these are, try and think of them as 3 ring binders that are virtual, and you can organize your files and folders by tabs and subtabs. So how do you find live binders? And if Bill, you could put the link in the chat, that would be great. You would go to livebinders.com/B/352331-3. And if you see this, the globe with the flags from various countries around the world with a yellow background, you are in the right spot. Please don't go to the site now. After this webinar, you can go to this presentation and click on it, and of course, bookmark this site. Oops. Okay. So when you first click on the New York State Standards Initiative Live Binders, you will see these yellow tabs. These represent the main categories. So you have overview, table of contents, search directions, model exemplars, the New York State topics for modern languages, the New York State themes for classical languages, and languages. And each of these yellow tabs are clickable. Okay, let's go there now. Oops. Oh, lovely ad. And you can see I can click on each of these yellow tabs. We're first going to go to the table of contents, and that lists all the tab and sub-tab categories. And the categories are clickable. So in the table of contents, we have the overview, search directions, and model exemplars. Those are tabs, and they'll be yellow. Then we have the New York State Topics Modern Languages yellow tab. And if you see everything with a bullet, those are the sub-tabs. So those are the topics in alphabetical order. And then there's the New York State Themes for Classical Languages is the yellow tab, and the bulleted points will be the blue sub-tabs. And again, these themes are in alphabetical order. And the last part is the tab of languages, and the sub-tabs, which will be blue, are the languages, again, in alphabetical order. And go to the table of contents. So one way to search in the table of contents is just whether you click on a tab, or if you click on a sub-tab, it takes you directly to that page. We're only going to go over part of the search directions right now. I'm going to go over the part that talks about the nature of unit plan exemplars and searching for an exemplar. So each unit plan exemplar has one anchor topic and at least two integrated topics. And the exemplars are searchable only by the anchor topic and not the integrated topics. And this is how each unit plan exemplar is labeled. We first list the checkpoint, whether it's A, B, or C, the language abbreviation, and the abbreviation is the first three letters of the language. So we see here SPA, and that's for Spanish. Then a number, and really the number are for our housekeeping purposes, but I'm going to show you a little bit later on why numbers might be important to you. And then the anchor topic of technology, media, and social media. Now, all of the unit plan exemplars are written in English and in a general way, so any teacher who teaches any language can either revise, use, or just have inspiration from that unit plan exemplar. And the last piece, the only thing that you might not want to use, but I'm going to show you a little bit later on a way you may use the authentic resources, even if it's not in your target language. The authentic resources are in the identified target language. So the specific resource you might want to use, but I'm going to show you a way that it will help you out. So let me, um, okay. So I went to Spanish. And if I scroll down to the anchor topic, technology, media, and social media, I'm going to just click on the first one. And I'm going to show you that even though this is written by a Spanish teacher, all of the unit plan context is written in English. Here, the teacher did write the inquiry question in Spanish, but also translated it into English. All the standards are written in English. The summative performance tasks are written in English. The language toolbox, the key language functions are written in English, and the supporting language structures and vocabulary can be in English and or the target language. And then here's where the resources and other materials will be in the target language. So since this was a Spanish teacher, these are all Spanish resources. So let's go back. Okay. Model exemplars. There are 5 model exemplars, and they were written by Dr. Joanne O'Toole, Dr. Lori Langer de Ramirez, and Bill Heller. You would click on a topic to view the exemplar. So let's, these ads, let's go to the model exemplars. We have 2 for checkpoint A, 2 for checkpoint B, and 1 for checkpoint C. We have 2 that were written generically for any language. We have 3 that were written from the lens of a Spanish teacher. I'm going to click on this one. Now, even though this was written from the lens of a Spanish teacher, this was about identity and social relationships, but problems. And that topic can be taught in any language. So what do you seek advice? What are your solutions to problems, et cetera, et cetera. Now, the next topic was New York State Topics for Modern Languages. All the blue you see in front of you are the sub-tabs in which are the topics listed in alphabetical order. And of course, again, you would just click on a topic to see the pertinent unit plan exemplars and then click on them to view the plan. So again, they're all written in English to view, revise, inspire. For example, if I clicked on celebrations, customs, and traditions, there's one submitted by a Korean teacher, and it's on the first day of New Year's. And I'm going to come back to that in a moment. Actually, I'm going to go there now. Let's celebrations. So under celebrations, customs, and traditions, there's one by a French teacher, one by a Korean teacher, and one by a Spanish teacher. If I click on the Korean one, and I apologize if I do not pronounce this correctly in Korean, Happy Sola. Again, this was all about celebrating the first day of the new year and comparing similarities and differences. Again, even though it's written by a Korean teacher and it's the specific Korean holiday, the can-do statements and acceptable evidence and summative performance tests can be used by a teacher of any language. Now, Currently, some anchor topics don't have unit plan exemplars, but they'll be added as soon as more are accepted. So if I go back to the tab of topics, I'm just going to click on earning a living. You'll see there's nothing there. It just says unit plan exemplars forthcoming. Next, let's go to the tab of New York State themes, classical languages. And the blue tabs are the themes in alphabetical order. And again, you would just click on a theme to view the pertinent unit plan exemplars. So again, all of these are written in English, again, to either for you to use, revise, or just inspire you. So if I go to daily life and societal institutions, I see there are two, and they were done by a Latin teacher. And I'm going to click on the first one. And the title was How Ancient Roman Meal Taking Relates to Me. Well, what if I took out ancient Roman and put in, if I was a Spanish teacher, either a specific Spanish speaking country, or if I was a French teacher, maybe a specific region in a French speaking area. So again, even though it's a classical language, there are pieces of it you could definitely use no matter what language you teach, because it's talk about express opinions about foods and meals. You're going to exchange information on plans for a meal. You're going to compare and contrast meal taking. Oops. And again, some anchor topics in the classical languages tab currently don't have unit plan exemplars, but they'll be added as soon as more are accepted. So if I went back to the classical languages tab and I clicked on identity and family life, it says unit plan exemplars are forthcoming. Oops. Okay. And our last yellow tab is languages. And like I said earlier, these blue subtabs are the languages in alphabetical order. And again, you would click on a language to view a pertinent unit plan exemplar. Oops. Now, this is where numbers come into play. So if there's more than one exemplar with the same anchor topic, they are now listed in numerical order. So let's go to languages, Spanish. Okay, food and meal taking, there are two of them. The first one is 025 and the second one is 030. It doesn't mean there's no 26, 27, 28, 29, just currently there's not. So since there's two with the same anchor topic, they are now put in numerical order. 25 comes before 30. The other reason you might want to know the numbers is say you see one of your colleagues and say, oh my goodness, I just saw the best unit plan on food and meal taking. You've got to check it out. And it's a Spanish one. And you're like, well, currently there's only two, but maybe in a few more years, there's going to be 20 plus. So it's easy to say to them, oh, it's number 25. You want to click on number 25, which is all about culinary delights and dining in the Spanish-speaking world. And some languages currently don't have unit plan exemplars, but again, more will be added as soon as we receive them. Oops. So if I went to languages, I think Japanese currently doesn't have any. All right, I'm going to go back to the search directions because there was a piece I skipped on purpose because I wanted to save it till now. And it's all about revising an exemplar. So first of all, the exemplars you see in light binders, you can't edit them, but there's a way to modify them. You can click on, find a unit plan exemplar, download it and save it, maybe to your desktop, or you have a downloads folder, and then you can edit it. So I'm going to go to languages, Spanish. And I've just got to switch my drive for a moment. Okay, see, I can't edit it. But what I can do instead is, now I have a Mac and this is my Google Drive. I'm going to do File, Download, Microsoft Word. And I don't want it in my Documents folder. I'm just going to put it on my desktop. Okay, and if I switch to my desktop, my messy desktop, here we go. I'm going to open this up. And I liked a lot of this unit plan exemplar, but for my students, I want to change a few things. So,
Barb, this is Joanne.
yes, can't see
Why
that.
don't you do a new screen share because we're not seeing that right now.
Okay. It's this one. Got it. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to scroll down to interpersonal. And where it says, I can exchange information about health, wellness, illness, or injury in a conversation with a classmate, I'm actually going to change that to, I'm going to get into vaping, alcohol, and drugs. So I'm going to have some of my authentic resources are going to be about those items. And I want them to be able to exchange information, the good and, or not the good and the bad, the downfalls of vaping, alcohol, and drugs. And sure, save my changes, of course. And I'm probably going to have to do another new share. Okay. Now, that's one way to modify an exemplar, is to download it, modify it, and save it. Or you can make a copy to your drive and then edit it. So here we go. I'm going to say File. I want to save it as, well, I'm going to make a copy. I'm going to put it in my drive, and I'm just going to put it under Google Docs documents. And there it is. And then I can modify it there. Or you can take a blank unit plan template and create your own unit plan. Maybe you want to take pieces from a French one you saw, and maybe a Spanish one, and maybe a German one, and then you're going to put in your own ideas. So we go back to search directions. So you can revise an exemplar by downloading it, by making a copy, or by using a blank unit planning template. And it depends. Are you a category 1, 2, a category 3, 4, or a classical languages teacher? And then if you use Microsoft Suite, you want a Word. If you're a Google Suite user, you want a Google Doc. So I would click on a Google Doc and I can just copy and paste pieces. Excuse me.
Barb, it's not showing accurately. There we are.
It slid over. So I can make a copy, download it, and then I'll be able to copy and paste from different Uniplan exemplars and also add my own ideas. Okay, that was a lot. So I am going to show you a unit plan exemplar written by a German teacher. And the anchor topic is family and social relationships. And the title was What Makes a Great Pet? And I'm going to read a little bit of it to you. Obviously, not the whole thing. So the integrated topics were identity, house and home, leisure, physical environment, climate, weather, and geography. So the overview, let me make this bigger. Okay. What makes a great pet and what do good pet owners have to do? Many people in many cultures keep a variety of animals as pets. In this unit, we will first discover facts about animals, zoo, farm, domesticated, and then we'll explore what makes a good pet and what we need to do to take care of them. We'll also learn which pets are popular in German-speaking regions. Again, you would take out German, put in your target language, and we'll compare this data to the US. Teachers can choose to focus on animals native to the target culture. So the inquiry questions are, what can animals do? And what is the best pet and why? So my question, that's all I'm going to read right now. My question for all of you is, how has this unit plan exemplar, and I only showed you the unit plan context, inspired you? So I'm going to give you 30 seconds just to think, how did this topic, brief overview, and inquiry questions, and I'll put them back up for you. I'll have to make it a little smaller. Instead of modifying this, how does it inspire you? Okay, if you could, please share in the chat how this unit plan exemplar has inspired you. Okay, Joanne, if you could read some of the inspirations that have been shared in the chat, would be great.
Oops. Yeah, I am following right along. I think there's a real theme here about the ability for this theme to connect to students' interests, real life, to engage them. A number of comments about taking a look at the target culture that they teach, that it's an opportunity to take a different look at culture. And some people even mentioned some particular animals Lori, I don't know if she's here, but we have capybaras being listed.
Yay.
That it's real world in nature. Someone else has said that it's a place they can start looking at their own curriculum and looking at their units.
Excellent.
Connections between the home culture and the target culture,
Mm-hmm.
something of high interest, motivating, getting students talking. So yeah, lots and lots of positive comments about how people have been inspired, even cross-curricular topics. There's an interdisciplinarity to it.
Mm, yes.
Some some rigor involved, an
Thank you.
opportunity to go seek out authentic resources. There we
Mhm,
go.
mhm. And I used, well, I've taught in 3 school districts, and one of them was rural, and there was a lot of farms. And I was thinking, instead of what makes a great pet, is what animals are important on a farm. And I know I would have all my farming students would have been right in there talking about their animals and their housing and the cost and the medicine and the chores and all of that. And how some of them are pets and some of them are not. I know I had a student who had like 100 sheep, and she had names for all of them, and she could tell them all apart. And I was like, wow. To me, they didn't all look alike, but a lot of them did. All right, so now we're going to take this same unit plan exemplar, and we're just going to look at interpretive communication. So they said I can identify the main characteristics of various animals by reading animal profiles or watching videos to identify cognates, traits, and facts. Another one, I can understand what pet owners need to consider before selecting a pet by answering questions in English regarding a main idea and supporting details from an article in a children's magazine. And the last one, I can identify various main ideas and facts about animals by sorting facts from a children's encyclopedia on animals into categories, what they look like, what they eat, where they come from. So notice even the authentic resources they mentioned, um, animal profiles, videos, children's magazine, a children's encyclopedia. Again, no matter what language you teach, there's a hint like, oh, is there a children's encyclopedia in the target language in which I teach? Okay, looking at the interpretive communication, I'm going to switch it up a little. Say you downloaded this exemplar and you want to modify something within the interpretive communication. It could be more, it could be all 3, it could be 1, it could just be a piece of 1, it could be a piece of acceptable evidence, it doesn't matter. I want you to think right now, what would you modify and how? So just put your thinking caps on. And if you could, please share in the chat, what would you modify and how?
I think people really liked what they saw there. So I see the comment from Ernesto about, learners potentially doing interpersonal tasks before the interpretive tasks. And the unit plan doesn't necessarily identify the order in which tasks are completed. It just talks about the overarching goals of the unit plan. Comparing, contrasting, there's a lot that could be compared and contrasted across cultures and from animal to animal. Yep, again, the scaffolding would be at the lesson level. This again, we're looking at unit plans, different animals in different places and how they're used. I think that's really a very big idea, how the perspectives, cultural perspectives on animals. And of course, the modifications for the particular learners in your class and activating prior knowledge, that would all be specific to the lessons. And the Quetzal, that's a wonderful cultural animal bird that could be considered. People, families, cultures, pets, yeah, living in the house and not. So even the place of the pet. Barbara, you're already talking about some potential acceptable evidence. What does it look like interpretively completing that graphic organizer? A debate. Boy, a debate could be so richly used about the ideal pet. Again, so perfect for checkpoint A, but even about pets in general, animals in general. Social ethical issues, and particularly as we move up the checkpoints, these are particularly checkpoint A unit plans, but that doesn't mean that they can't inspire a unit plan beyond checkpoint A. I might see something that's really perfect at checkpoint A but I maybe teach checkpoint B and then I modify for that checkpoint. And the food that they give us, the alebrijes, the ajalote, the axolotl. Yeah, lots and lots of possibilities. So I'm thinking that we may have lost Barb here. So there you are, Barb. I think we lost you for a minute.
Yeah, I think she might be frozen.
Yeah, I'm seeing that.
Oh,
Give her a minute to get redirected. I love all the conversation going on in the chat, though, that you're inspiring one another with great ideas.
I want to give a plug while we're waiting for Barb to rejoin, and that is we've traditionally asked those people who have attended our summer unit planning workshops, who have really dove into this exemplar development with Joanne and Bill and Lori, to consider taking a unit that they have developed that is aligned to the new standards and to submit it as part of this process. So while this summer we are doing a different series of workshops, they will be on the assessment guidance for checkpoint A, and we encourage you to consider joining. We are going to be putting a call out there, especially for checkpoint B and those of you who were able to attend last summer's. While we're not going to commit ourselves exactly today, I will say confidently that in the future, we will also offer a unit planning for checkpoint C in a future summer. Barb?
Andy, can you give me host access now?
Oh,
I
I'm
don't know.
sorry. Yes, absolutely.
It said recording stopped, everything went black, and so I had to sign in again.
You know, I had a similar issue last week with that, and I haven't found out why. You should have host privileges now.
Yes, I do. Okay. Oh.
While you were gone, Barb, people shared lots of wonderful ideas.
Oh, great, great. Okay. So we looked at interpersonal, correct? So presentational, this German teacher wanted her students to talk about a specific animal and also what makes a good pet and the pros and cons of pet ownership. So please share other ideas on what would you do differently? Maybe what would you add? Would you modify something?
I actually think several of the ideas that have already been shared address
rough.
this. There may be some more.
And I'm just going to throw the cultural practice and products and comparisons in, and they could share all of those. So, what products and practices relate to animals? You know, songs and stories and dances. You compare pet preferences in the target language in the US. And this one I thought was interesting, infographics on population density. So students can understand why Germans, Spaniards, Mexicans, French may prefer smaller pets. So again, is there anything you could add?
So one of the things I've noticed is even though these unit plans are at checkpoint A, people are coming up with ideas that are checkpoint A, checkpoint B, and checkpoint C appropriate. Um, for example, explore the commercialization of pets and products created for them. Probably a little bit beyond checkpoint A, although
Mhm.
some people have great talent in modifying things. We have some suggestions about bringing in stuffed animals, particularly a show and tell, particularly at the for FLES program, and
Mm,
then the Save Gato, the Sato project in Puerto Rico, which is really quite interesting and under discussion again. So lots of cultural ideas.
excellent.
Yeah, lots of good thinking here. Thank you, everyone.
And I'm just going to show the summative performance tasks. They were doing they're going to interpret an infographic. They're going to describe animals for interpersonal. And this was done in a guessing game in teams. I thought that was interesting. And the presentational is your best pet poster. Okay, I do want to show you something in not the language toolbox. I'm going to go to the authentic resources. So all of these are in German, whether it's articles, encyclopedias, videos, infographics, etc., pet memes. But I teach Spanish, but I'm going to get ideas from this. So I can search for the role. Oh, that's misspelled. The role of pets in the home, or I could search on most popular pets. It's given me ideas of what to search for. So most popular pets, I am gonna switch over here. I'm gonna write in Spanish so I actually get something in Spanish. So mascotas or animales domésticos más populares. And I'm just gonna pick Spanish speaking country. I'm gonna Costa Rica. And I'm gonna see if it brings up anything besides, oh, I see two infographics here. So if I click on one, I'm going to see if it's something I could use. Well, there's cute pictures. Oh, this is how they got it. Was it a gift? Did they adopt it, buy it? Okay, here's the popularity. Dogs and cats, of course. This is all about their owners. This is about what you would pay for them. Oh, I like that. And if I put in, instead of Costa Rica, I can put in Mexico. Oh. And again, this is just the most popular pets in Mexico. Not a lot of words, but I can use this as a starting point. So again, don't dismiss the authentic resources. They might give you good search terms. Okay. Now, currently there are 28 unit plan exemplars housed in the live binders, and I am going to show you all the unit titles for them. I'm not going to read them. And maybe one of them is going to spark a unit plan you want to develop or pique your interest to go and look at it. Okay, so here's all 28 unit plan titles. Oops. Oh, there we go. Okay, hopefully one or more of those caught your eye. So if you're looking for more guidance on unit plan development, you would go to the OBEWL website. If you want to see the annotated unit plan templates, once you click on the link, you're going to go to Resources for Teachers and Unit Planning Guidance. So Resources for Teachers is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th blue accordion down. And then I'm going to look at the subtitles that are in black, and I want unit planning. So here's unit plan templates annotated for category 1, 2, 3, 4, and classical. And it gives you the word in the Google Doc version. So it helps you of what they're looking for in each element of the unit plan. Another thing you might enjoy looking at to either as a refresher or looking at it for the first time is the webinar on understanding unit planning with the revised New York State World Language Standards. Again, you're going to go to the OBEW website, professional learning recordings, and you want 2021. So recordings of previously offered webinars. Here's 2024. I'm going to scroll down to 2021. I can't believe it was that long ago. And there we are, understanding unit planning, part 1 and part 2. Okay, Candy already talked about future unit plan exemplars for checkpoint B and checkpoint C and the time frame for those. And just to revisit today's goals, I can become familiar with the Live Binders platform. I can explain the difference between the model and regular unit plan exemplars. I can search Live Binders content using its tools. I can download an exemplar for my use. I can modify an exemplar for my classroom instruction. And, oops, here we go. So just a quick review. There's 3 different ways to search for a unit plan exemplar. You can go to the table of contents and click on the topic or subtopic there. You can go to the topic or theme and click on one. Well, let's pick one where there's, school life and education. Or you could do it by language. Italian has got one in there. So there's 3 different ways you can find or explore a unit plan exemplar. Okay, Now, if there are any comments or questions, fire away.